In this video, we are going to be talking about alternative routes into the world of investment banking. Whew. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Afzal Hussain. You can find out a bit more about me through the social media links below, or you can check out my website, which is www.afzalhussain.com. Today we're going to be talking about alternative routes for breaking into the world of investment banking, because there are so many of you that always email me and ask me, is it too late to get into banking? What should you do if you don't get an internship or a spring week or a grad scheme and work in your favorite investment bank, or get the investment banking role straight after university? And so today I'm going to be talking about 4 alternative routes for you to take in order to help you go into investment banking later on in your career. Now, it's important for you to remember that, you know, your career is a very long period of time. It spans 30, 40, 50 years long. And so if you don't get into your desired career or company at the beginning, you know, first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it's not the end of the world. You've still got another 30, 40, 50 years to kind of find your feet and get to where you want to get to. And oftentimes when we get to where we think we want to get to, we usually end up chasing another goal or another objective or plan or mission. And so don't be too disheartened if you don't get into your favorite role out of university. Today we're going to talk about some alternative routes to get you to where you might want to go, specifically within the world of investment banking. So let's get straight into it. The first alternative route is to pursue a career in accounting. So a lot of people that don't get into banking do accounting, and the main reason is when you're working in the investment banking division of a bank, when you're working on M&A, IPOs, leverage buyouts, so on and so forth, your work relies on being able to read and open up the inner workings of a company. So you're going to be looking at the profit and loss statement, the cash flow statements, the balance sheet, all of the financial statements of these companies. And if you have a good understanding of them, you will be able to create your models much more easily. You'll be able to do your valuation, so on and so forth, to a higher standard and more easily. Now, to grasp that level of understanding, it's oftentimes very important or useful to do an accounting degree or to have a good knowledge of accounting in general. And so individuals that don't get into investment banking straight away pursue careers in accounting, and they get their qualifications, whether it's the ACCA, you can Google these, lots of information will come up, or the ACA, so on and so forth. There's so many accounting qualifications. They might go and join a PwC or a Deloitte or an Accenture or a EY or a KPMG, do accounting for a few years, get qualified as an official accountant, and then apply to the world of investment banking. Now, when investment banks see that this individual is a qualified accountant, they immediately know this individual has a strong understanding of the inner workings of a company, which once again will allow them to be more comfortable when it comes to creating models and evaluation for assessing companies and doing mergers or acquisitions or the various other tasks and roles that investment bankers do in such a role. And so that's one route, going through accounting, building some experience there, and then applying to investment banking. Second alternative is if you graduate from your undergrad and you don't have an offer to join the investment banking division, a lot of students and graduates do a master's. It's very important, if you are going to do a master's, it's better to do it in a finance or investment banking specific subject. So you might want to do a master's in investment banking, or master's in finance, master's in private equity, master's in investment management, whatever it might be. The more specific to the career you're after, the better. And secondly, you increase your chances if you do your master's at a top institution, so an LSE, an Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Stanford, whatever it might be. If you're going to do a master's, you want to go for the best of the best institutions, because they also have alumni networks that can help you. They have good partnerships and connections with the best investment banks, and so that's another route. If you don't get into investment banking from your undergrad, do a master's and then break in. Obviously, things to consider are the costs of doing a master's, but that's a whole nother topic in itself. Third alternative route is doing an MBA. MBAs can be even more expensive, but usually if you've got a few years of work experience under your belt, whether it's banking or not, it always helps to go and do an MBA and then it increases your chances of breaking into the world of investment banking. Now, once again, similar to doing a master's, doing an MBA at a top institution helps. You probably come in at an associate or a VP level, but at this point in your career, it's not too important to focus on what level you go in because you're still going to be less than 10 years experience. The key is just to break in, just to get your foot in the door and then climb. You've got 30-40 years to do so, and so an MBA is a good alternative route into banking if you can fund it and if that's something that you would be interested in. And the fourth alternative route is strategy consulting. So going and working for a Boston Consulting Group, Accenture, McKinsey, strategy consulting, there's a lot of similar skills that they use that investment bankers use. And so one caveat though, it's hard to break into strategy consultants because these companies are quite prestigious as well. However, if you can't get into investment banking, oftentimes many individuals go and do strategy consulting for a few years, they build up the relevant skill set, and then 3 to 5 years in, they make the move to investment banks. And it's a common route, a lot of people do it, and so that's an option for you to consider as well. Last but not least, bonus tip is networking. Throughout your time, whether you break in or you don't break into investment banking, if you have a good network, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're using your alumni network from your university, if you're keeping in touch with people in the industry, if you manage to find a very good mentor, all of these opportunities and connections can help you land interviews, get your CV or your cover letter passed to the HR department. And so it always, regardless, whatever you're doing, it pays to have a good network and actively invest time and effort in meeting people who are in the industries that you're interested in, because usually it's those connections that allow you to go and seek the opportunities that you never thought were available. And so that's the bonus tip. It's always important to build your network and, you know, continue investing time and effort into it. If you enjoyed this video, it will mean a lot to me if you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. I do weekly videos every Wednesday, and if you've got any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below. Once again, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you in next week's video. Peace.